Yo, yo, yo. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear me now? Do you hear me? Do you hear me now? Can you hear me? Please let me know if I'm coming in, Rue, on the YouTube side of things. I would appreciate that. It's so annoying. It's this friggin' headset. Always a problem. Always a problem when you're trying to do something. Anybody confirm? Any confirmations here? I'll just trim this part out. No, this won't exist. I'm going to start the show over. Okay. Just someone confirm. I just need to know that I can be heard before I start my whole spiel. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for looking out, Jason. And thank you, Rue, for letting me know that there was no audio in the first place. There I go indeed. Okay. Welcome to the streaming live, actually. No, it doesn't work. Welcome to the Streaming EVILIVE show. My name is Jeffrey Murdergram, and I'm coming to you live from the castle in the basement. Sad news today. Sylvain of the New York Dolls has left the building. Oh my God, this is devastating. It's a double devastation. My dear sweet Nana passed away earlier this week. It was real. She was 92. Had a wonderful long life. Great 6 great grandchildren. Big bucket of win. One of my dear friends. I will miss her to the end of days. To the end of my days, I should say. And I'll tell you guys. Sorry for the tender gender Jerry Springer moment. By the way, I got some people in the comments of last week's episode got really mad that I started off the show because I stall a little bit just to see if anybody else is going to come in. Somebody was super pissed that I took 10 minutes just to talk. I mean, come on. He's not I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. The free internet, the free content that you're streaming on YouTube, is not to your quality or satisfaction. Jesus. In any case, my grandmother died. I loved her very much. It's not a sob story. I learned a long time ago to always pick up the phone for my grandmother, my Nana. Anytime she called, even during the show, as Rusty Murdergram pointed out one day, anytime my Nana called, I picked up the phone. I never missed a phone call from her in almost 15 years. That's right. To a T, 14 years. No, 15 years. 15 years. If I missed a phone call from my Nana, I would call her back immediately. And I'm really glad that I lived my life like that. And she's gone now. Please don't apologize. I appreciate it. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Truly. You guys are so sweet, but it's not necessary. I mean, whatever. I appreciate it. I'll shut up. It's good. So what I was saying before when I was muted, look at all these tapes. You think that's tapes. All right. You know what? Just cause look at these tapes. You want to see some ish? Woo! See that? Look at those tapes. There's another box of 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 tapes. There's some more tapes. And some more. And some more. We got tapes. We got tapes to the ceiling, you guys. I mean, I'm choking. I'm choking in tapes to digitize. What's so special about these tapes? These tapes are the documentary, man. Essentially, these tapes have all the people. There are people that are no longer on this earth that are on these tapes. So their words and their picture lives on, despite the fact that they have shuffled loose this mortal coil. I'm talking about people like Odorous Urungus from Guar, Jonathan Stab from Government Issue. I'm talking about freaking Joey Image, Basil Gogos. I mean, the list goes on and on. that's not to brag or anything. I'm just saying we got a lot of stuff. There's so much work to be done. There's a lot of stuff to be digitized. Oh, there was another. Oh, yeah, that was different. Okay, never mind. I'll sort through that. So what I've been doing is I have just been digitizing nonstop. Like I said, I'm almost at 3 terabytes of information now. I mean, there's just so much to go through. And you know who I forgot that I had interviewed for this thing? They came into town and I said, damn, like, let me get a soundbite of these guys. What band could you possibly think? Like, what do these guys have to do with the Misfits? Nothing. But I was like, if I could just get these guys saying anything about the Misfits, how fun would that be to put that soundbite in the documentary? I'm talking about Guitar Wolf. Yeah. I did a 25-minute interview with Guitar Wolf, and Guitar Wolf is in the documentary, probably for a soundbite. You know, some of these are just sound bites. They can't be all, the 6-hour interviews. However, I just digitized the Tom Bejowitz interview, Bejgrowitz. I was mispronouncing his name all these years. And Tom's interview is about 2.5 hours long. I mean, I really conducted a very thorough interview with Tom. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that interview again, to listening back to that interview. So I'm like, I am hungry for this, you guys. I am super hungry for this interview. In any case, that's neither here nor there. I really want to talk about Sylvain for a minute. We did the same thing when, remember when Little Richard died and we talked about Little Richard? Well, I think it's only right that we pay a respect to Sylvain, a true legend. If there ever was one. I mean, part of the New York Dolls, a huge crime that the New York Dolls are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Look at Jerry Nolan there, just with that swagger, man. He's just got that. He's got such attitude when he's playing those drums. He's not even doing anything so like, 2 Doll records are pure energy. However, Oni, I'm about to say something you might find controversial. I think all 5 Dolls records are awesome. The New York Dolls are a band that came back in 2004. I saw that incarnation at Little Steven's Underground Rock Festival. And I got to tell you, I thought it was great. I thought it was valid. You had the lead singer frontman and the founding member guitarist, and they got a bunch of guys to fill in. And, I mean, listen, is anybody ever going to replace Jerry Nolan or Johnny Thunders? No. Are they still a valid lineup for a band that has no right to exist anymore? Hell friggin' yeah. And not only that, they're recording stuff too. You know what I mean? They're like putting out these albums that are so good. One day it will please us to remember this again or something. I mean, it's just great stuff. The energy. And it's funny, even after Johnny Thunders and Jerry Nolan left the New York Dolls, they continued on. Arthur Killer Kane left, Johnny Thunders left, and Jerry Nolan left, and David Johansen and Sylvain in the 70s, I think in 1975, 1976, continued on with the New York Dolls. And they had Ty Sticks, I think, was in the group at one point, and it was great. And then Jerry Nolan and Johnny, the 2 junkies, they went and they formed the Heartbreakers. The rest is history. Just to go to the comments real quick. Yeah, man, classic real rock is one way to put it. I would just say, it's not punk rock, but I mean, if anything, it is, I think, the definition of proto-punk. This is the rock and roll, simple 3-chord rock and roll with attitude and balls. It's dirty. It's sloppy. It's haggard, and it's super fun. There's also the Heartbreaker stuff. Yes. And speaking of the Heartbreaker stuff, I have Walter and Billy Rath, the 2 other Heartbreakers that were not in the New York Dolls. They have both done interviews for my documentary. They came from Lodi. They are also both deceased. So these are never before seen interviews that will see the light of day. You are correct. They made great DVD of those reunions. Phenomenal. I didn't get to see, the first one was in England. Morrissey put that together, and they even did a live album for that. But now I kind of want to see more. I just want to see something that really shows Sylvain doing his thing. Sylvain put out some albums. Even Sylvain and David Johansen put together. David Johansen and Sylvain put whatchamacallit together. Here we go. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. Let's just go to some New York Dolls real quick. Oh, see what we got here. There you go, Jet Boy. You really see Sylvain just cutting a rug with Jet Boy here. Sorry, we gotta skip through this ad real quick. Here we go. I love Jet Boy. Such a great show. Mick Ronson also played with the Dolls for a show. I never knew that. Look at that. Crossbones and leather jacket. Johnny Thunders doing the lead guitar. And you know what's crazy? Look at them doing their clap thing. I love it, man. I love this band so much. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I just never talk about them. They're not in my periphery. They're just always there. You take the Dolls for granted, you know, because you just like they're immortalized. They're always there. What do I have to talk about them for? Punk band. And I said, you know, it's so sad what happens to the first bands. The first bands open the door and then everybody else tramples them as they go through the door. And I think nothing truer can be said for a band like the New York Dolls, who, you know, opened so many doors and so many people would, you know, just walk past them. I don't know. It just, maybe it's the ones that we salute you. We truly salute you, Sylvain. That's not Sylvain. That's David Joe. Let's find a picture of Sylvain. There he is. We salute you, Sylvain. Thank you for your contributions. You helped change punk rock forever. And you know what? The biggest travesty of all, even more than his death, because death is inevitable. We all die, right? What is truly a travesty is that the Dolls are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I always hear, well, you know, record sales play a huge part of it. F that impact on the Dolls. Very few bands. And so the fact that bands like the New York Dolls, the MC5, and the Bad Brains are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but you have Green Day, you have the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, again, I'm not trying to take away their entryway into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm just saying if those guys are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the New York Dolls, the MC5, the Bad Brains need to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for their immense impact on counterculture music. Oni says the Dolls also influenced Kiss and Aerosmith. Yes, of course, but Oni, you're looking at it so small, man. Like, as I said, I don't know if you heard me before, they influenced decades. They influenced a decade of music in the 80s with hair metal. Think about the billions. It has to be billions with a B. Billions of dollars that was made off of the image of the New York Dolls, which was just eight years too late, man. It was just 8 years too late, and they didn't get their due. All right, we've literally done 20 minutes on the Dolls. Not 20 quite, but, you know. Yes, the Ramones did worship the Dolls, of course. As a matter of fact, Marky Ramone auditioned for the Dolls. It was between him and Jerry Nolan, and they picked Jerry Nolan because of Marky Ramone's metal background. They wanted someone with a little bit more attitude, and nobody had attitude like Jerry Nolan, man. That guy was tough as nails. Tough as nails. I know this was like a pocket. This was a pocket podcast before we got to the main event podcast. What's up, Pat? How are you? How is your family? I hope they're well. Sorry, I'm socializing with Facebook. I broke my rule. What's up, John? You guys got to go over to the YouTube. You're not going to be able to hear the tasty treat that I have waiting for us. You got to come over to the YouTubes, guys. Come over to the YouTubes. This is just for show. At some point, all right, whatever. I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so now I want to let's talk. I talked to you about where I'm at with the Misfits project, with the documentary. You all know about that. The other thing I'm trying to institute. See, here's the thing. I have so much content. Like, and I'm not talking about the Blitz Kid stuff. I'm just talking about I have lots of stuff. I have so much stuff, and I am trying to figure out, really related to the Lodi thing, just stuff that's not going to be able to fit in the documentary. What I'm trying to figure out is, I don't want to do a Patreon. I don't want to do that. I want to keep everything on YouTube. And so what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking about launching, they have this thing. You can join as a member. It's a membership thing. All it is it's an exclusive video that nobody else can see. So what I'm thinking is, some of this, as I showed you, hours and hours of tapes, right? If I have hours and hours of tapes, and I'm going to make a documentary that's what, like 2 hours? What am I going to do with the rest of the stuff? There's tons of content on here. So what I'm thinking is, I will put together some sizzle reel or some sort of situation, right? I'm going to put together with these tapes. I'm gonna make some micro content videos that will be exclusive to the membership. And what that is going to do is, that is also going to subsidize costs in relation to filming more interviews that I have planned. I have a couple of rather big interviews that I'm trying to execute. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's super. Yeah, let me just say, let's just leave it at that. But I'm trying to figure out a way to keep this going. So I don't know. I just want to let you guys know, thinking about doing that. It might happen. The way it works is, it's like it's a membership. It's like $5 a month. And I think I would do one video per week that nobody else can see except if you're in the membership. It's exactly like a Patreon. I'm thinking about launching a Patreon-like thing on YouTube, using YouTube's tools to do it. YouTube has a thing. It's like a wall, okay? That's what I'm thinking of. Again, I'm doing this to try and raise funds, but I don't want to just raise funds for nothing. I want to give something in exchange for raising those funds. That's the whole idea. In any case, let's move on to our main topic for tonight. So there's no point in burying the lead. You see what it says in the title of the YouTube video, exclusive interview. Some of you have already listened to this interview. It is a rare interview of the Misfits. That's right. We have a never before heard Misfits interview to listen to. Now, here's the thing. I myself have never actually listened to the interview. Hold on, I was just reading this comment. Am I interviewing Ashley Wisdom? Who's Ashley Wisdom? Jeff's Addiction. Jeff's Addiction. Yeah. Who's Ashley Wisdom? I don't even know. Hey, thank you, Winds Howling. But guys, if you like this show, subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. Please do those things. Go to my Facebook, my website, frumess.com, and leave. Click on some of the ads. Help me with that ad space. AdSense. Sorry, I'm like mixing my words. Glenn's girlfriend. She's interesting, man. She's really pulled back the curtain. I'm not really going to talk about that right now, but she's pulled back the curtain. Very, very interesting. I like that Glenn is like domesticating. I think maybe he's secretly in love. Uncle Glenn's in love. What's up, Rusty? You got to come over to this side. Come over to this side, you guys. All right. So I've been doing a lot of reminiscing on the thing. As I'm digitizing the tapes, I'm trying to give little stories behind the tapes, that sort of thing. Just like trying to like reminisce about stuff that I kind of forgot. Like today I talked about how, Mr. Jim, before I did my first interview was Mr. Jim. And in order to interview him, I needed to buy a microphone with the last money that I had to my name. True story. My last $200 was spent on a microphone to start this project. I sat at a crossroads in my life where I said, do I really want to take this seriously? If so, I need to have the best sound that my money can buy. And just as it turned out, the best sound that my money could buy was a just shy of $200 microphone. I had exactly the amount of money that I needed to go get the microphone that I needed to go and interview the Static Age drummer, who I desperately wanted him to think that I was professional and had my crap together. And in order to do that, I felt like if I had a lavalier microphone, that would work. And I needed it. And so I begrudgingly spent that $200, and it was the best $200 I've ever spent. It was a risk, and I took the risk, And it sent me that microphone along with eventually getting this camera at a much later date. I can't pull it into the frame right now. So sent me on a journey that has taken me internationally thousands and thousands of miles, met so many people. It all started from that interview and that microphone. It's so weird. Like my whole world opened up in the world of music just from doing that. So I told that story today. So I've been telling these different stories. Well, in any case, one guy that I met about 10 years, no, it was about 10 years ago, 10 and a half years ago. He's a very interesting fellow. He was a friend of this guy named Joe Truck. Joe Truck, while maybe his name, and shout out to Joe out there, who is a great guy who I've not seen in many, many years. Joe is a musician. He's a photographer. He was around during the CBGB's Max's Kansas City scene and, you know, going to see all those bands and hanging out. He was just in that scene. And later he would start doing his own bands. He did a band called The Brain Eaters. If you've been on Misfits Central, you will see the Brain Eaters mentioned. They have an EP, one EP out called Night Must Fall. Night Must Fall. And that has, that band was Damien, Pete Marshall, Damien's band right after he left Samhain. So I forgot how we got in contact, but we got in contact. That's how I ended up going down to meet Billy Rath and from the Heartbreakers. I traveled with Joe Truck. We hopped in my car. He didn't have a car. He was visiting from the LA. I was driving him all over town. I drove him to Martin Rev's house from Suicide, and he went up and took that guy's photo. I was just driving him around different places. He was taking his photos, and he's like, "We got to go to the most southern part of Jersey." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "For Billy Rath." And I was like, "Okay, go." Taped, I shot Billy Rath. He shot Billy Rath. We both shot Billy Rath. Yada yada yada. Joe's friend was a guy by the name of Greg Fasolino. Greg, Joe also turned me on to so many people that he said I needed to interview, people that I didn't even know existed that I needed to interview. Like, for instance, Nick Martin from the Stimulators. If we've talked a lot about the Stimulators, I interviewed Nick from the Stimulators through Joe. I interviewed, who else came through Joe? Friggin' Jack Rabbit, who is the man behind Big Takeover Magazine. He had a hardcore band that featured Thurston Moore at one point from Sonic Youth called Even Worse. They opened up for the Misfits. They were a hardcore band. I interviewed that guy, blah, 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 blah. So one of the guys that Joe Truck introduced me to was Greg Fasolino. Greg is a very interesting guy. He's like a Renaissance man, and he is an archivist in the greatest possible, like, if ever, like, I mean, to call someone an archivist is not like, it's not like a bad thing to call someone an archivist, right? Like, it's a good thing to call someone an archivist, but like, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is I can't think of a more endearing term for Greg than to his work as an archivist. He has such a talent. He's multifaceted in his talents. He's a musician. He's a journalist. He's a writer. He's an avid music consumer. He's well-versed in literature. He's really into medieval sword fighting, like fencing and stuff. This guy is very interesting. He's got a lot of hobbies. But one of his truest talents is his archival abilities. He has saved everything. And if you know him, I know him. We connected through social media after we met. Joe introduced me to him because he was a member of the Fiend Club. And he had I didn't have at the time. I was like, I have to interview Fiend Club members. That's the type of project that this is. It's a project that features, it's not just Glenn, Jerry, and Doyle. It's the people that experienced it, that experienced being members of the Fiend Club. It's multifaceted. That's the whole point of this thing, right? Of trying to tell this story. So I meet Greg. There's a band called Jay and the Boyfriends and another band called Milk and Cookies. Those were two fixtures of Max's Kansas City back in the day. And Greg was there and those guys were there. And I was supposed to interview Greg. I never ended up I didn't end up scheduling it. It didn't happen. I still would like to interview Greg if I could. I actually sent him an email not too long ago. He was recovering from COVID, made a strong recovery, and I sent him an email just to say hello and sort of reconnect in that kind of way. All of a sudden, Greg has always had a YouTube channel. And in particular, like I said, his social media is phenomenal. He takes these photos from every year of his life and he uploads them to the internet. Like, this is 1978. This is 1979. And just like everything, like receipts from like when he would purchase music. It's fascinating to me. I'm like, this is like somebody's personal history. Why is this interesting? It just is. It is because Greg grew up on Long Island and he was really into all this cool underground stuff that nobody else was into. I bet if you were to, talk to a bunch of his friends at his school where he went, I think he was probably born in 69 or 70 or 71, somewhere around that. Right. So he grew up in the 70s. He was too young to see, maybe he was a little bit older. He was too young to actually go see the Misfits play, but he did belong in the Fiend Club. And he would also tape, we'll talk about him at another day, Tim Somer from Noise the Show. Tim was an A&R rep for, I forget which record label, but he signed Hootie and the Blowfish. He was a producer on that. I Wanna Be Your Love. He was also in some bands. In any case, he had a radio show, and the Misfits used to go on this radio show all the time called Noise the Show with Tim Somer. Tim Somer introduced the Misfits for their 1982 Halloween show. That was Tim up there introducing them, right? So these guys are there's this whole culture, I don't know, it's just this whole thing. Greg was keyed in. Greg was connected to all of that in the sense of he was a consumer of this stuff as it was happening, but it's not mainstream. So for Greg, and the reason why I know I'm so good at these preambles, I just build it up and I build it up and I build it up and I build it up, but with good reason. So Greg freaking has the foresight to tape all this stuff on cassette tapes. He just, he's just popping in cassette tapes and recording it for what purpose? I mean, how much of this stuff has he really played back over the years? I don't know. But his nature is to document and archive this stuff. And he has a treasure chest that is not to be believed. Let me actually, hold on. So let me go to, I should get to this now. So here is his YouTube channel. And what I want to advise to all of you, and this is really important to me personally, go check out Greg's channel. Go subscribe, because I'm sure he's going to have some stuff that you guys want to see. I promise you. Go subscribe to Greg's channel right now. He's got Samhain interviews. He's just got all this stuff. I really want to emphasize that a lot. Look at all the stuff you have here. The Cramps, live at the Peppermint Lounge. Chop Shot, that was Joe Truck's other band. Scarecrow, the Gun Club, the Butthole Surfers, the Cult. He just was at everyone, and these are all his recordings. He recorded all of this stuff himself, right? So everything you see here comes from stuff that he recorded. Look, Glenn Danzig's Answering Machine, October 1988. Let's listen to that. What does Glenn Danzig's Answering Machine sound like? Holy crap. Hold on. This is going to be difficult. Let me see. Wow, I didn't even see that this was on here. Hold on, I got to remove this real quick, and then we gotta stop sharing. We're gonna share our screen, Chrome tab, Glenn Danzig's Answering Machine. All right, hopefully you should be able to hear this. Okay, ready? And this is Glenn Danzig's Answering Machine. What the hell? What is this? That is so cool, man. That's Glenn Danzig's answering machine from October 1988. So that's the type of stuff that Greg is archiving. So I really just want to draw attention to that and why it's so important for you to make sure you subscribe to his channel. Because what we've done is I've taken one of his interviews, which I'm going to talk about right now. I know I'm really bearing the lead here. Here's Samhain live at Danceteria. I mean, the thing is, some of these recordings, in particular, like the one that we're going to listen to, oh, you couldn't hear the audio. Well, damn it. No audio right now. I hope you can hear me now. The thing that's really interesting, I mean, just look at all this stuff. And what he did was he bought himself a digitizer, and he is just digitizing and digitizing and digitizing his stuff. This is where it really, and I think he just keeps doing this, man. I mean, look, this stuff came out here. Bad Brains live at the Ritz, 1987. And the thing that's great is every single, all the data is there, right? Like, look, you go down, and Greg has put the entire track listing. He's got all the information. Look, it got picked up. So in any case, one of the things that Greg manages to upload, that he's able to digitize, and this is what blows my mind, right? He uploads the Misfits live, not live in the studio, 1982 on WFMU. Hold on, here it is. Look at this. This was 2 weeks ago, December 26th. What a Christmas gift, huh? He uploads the Misfits interviewed by Pat Duncan on WFMU. It just blows my mind. Now there's some notes. Hold on. Let's pull out the notes. Greg left some notes that I actually screenshotted, and I'm sure Greg would appreciate my, oh man, where did I put it? Where did I put his notes? I'll find it real quick. It's here. Out that thing. Come on. Where are those notes? I wrote some notes to that specified. Here it is. Found it. Thank you. Okay. Hold on 1 second here. Okay. Ready for this? If I can. So you're open with. I want to read these. This is important. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay. So check this out. So Greg says this. He says, this is in relation to the thing, because I emailed him after he posted that. So before I start converting all my remaining old tapes, I've been posting the ones I converted back in the early 2000s to YouTube. It appears that I am the only person who taped this historic Misfits interview. My friend Jeff Frumess, he called me a noted Misfits historian, which I found incredibly flattering. Thank you, Greg. Tells me this is without a doubt the longest known single audio interview with the Misfits as a band. Now, again, within the knowledge that I have, and I don't know how to qualify that knowledge for you. I can't sit here and say that I don't know everything. I always tell you guys I don't know everything. All the time people are schooling me on stuff or you know, enlightening me to things that I'm not aware of. Wow, Rue says he remembers this interview. Pat Duncan was a good dude. WFMU was the ish back then. So my point is that I don't think, as far as I know, this is the longest Misfits interview on tape, period. Yes, there's the Glenn Danzig Pusshead interview that's 3 hours long. That doesn't count. That's Glenn during Samhain by himself. This is the Misfits together, Glenn and Jerry. I think, I don't know, because I haven't listened to it yet. That's the best part. I'm going to listen to this live. That's what I want to do. I wanted to hear it live, and I wanted to talk talk with you guys about it. So as far as I know, this 37-minute interview is the longest Misfits interview in existence. And just like out of nowhere, super nonchalant, Greg whips it out and puts it on YouTube for all of us. What a gift. And so I salute Greg, truly. Thank you, Greg. Like I said, guys, do yourselves a favor and go through his stuff. Please subscribe to Greg on YouTube. Okay? I want to put that out there. Here's some notes about the recording. You can hear the radio signal wobbling and struggling to not sizzle out, because this is how meticulous Greg is. Greg takes the time he's so detailed oriented in his archivalness. It just blows my mind. You can hear the radio signal wobbling and struggling to not sizzle into white noise. WFMU's transmitter in East Orange, New Jersey was just close enough to my family's house in Middle Village. Oh, sorry, he's from Queens. Not Long Island, Queens. So sorry. Yes, thank you, Greg. My correction, he's not from Long Island. Why did I think he was from Long Island? He's from Middle Village, or he was from Middle Village, Queens. I think he's in Long Island now. That's what it is. For him to regularly tune into WFMU. So he's just tuning in and he's like, this is cool stuff. The Fiend Club is cool. I'm going to take this. And I remember too, there was a thing, he had to hide the boxes from his mom. That's the only thing I remember from what Greg told me about being in the Fiend Club. His mom was not about it. And she would make him, Umberto, you got to come to YouTube, buddy. Come over to YouTube. That's no good over there. Hey, what's up, Chris? Chris, come to YouTube. He just, yeah, sorry. In any case, he used to hide it from his mom. So he was at the edge of reception. So there's a lot of fuzz and white noise that makes the recording almost unlistenable in certain areas. He says, yes, that's a 17-year-old high school senior, Greg Fasolino, calling in. So he was actually 17 in 1982, which means he was born in about 1965. I was off by a couple years. So Greg got this, like, he basically was around from, he's been into this stuff from 1980 to like 2000. He got to like really experience a lot of really cool music. And again, he would later become an interviewer for Spin and some other things, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Greg. I think it was Spin. He wrote for a bunch of magazines and stuff. And he actually interviewed Glenn. He interviewed Glenn Danzig and he taped over the tape. He deleted the tape, which he embarrassingly admits himself all the time. So Greg does call in on the tape, which is maybe why he was recording it too, asking Glenn about Beware and his favorite horror movie. I never realized that I had a mild Queens accent, but yep, I sure did. I suppose. Oh, so he did live on Long Island. I mixed it up. I suppose living on Long Island for 30 years has slowly erased it. So he eventually moved to Long Island. Priceless exchange at 1955 with a hater. It's kind of fun to hear Glenn when he was still young and cocky. At 30:33, a call-in from future Samhain drummer Steve Zing Greco, then of Morning Noise. So Steve calls into the show, which is super cool. I'm excited. I bet Steve's gonna have a really high voice and be like, "Hi, it's me, Steve." Just kidding, Steve. At 7 minutes and 30 seconds, he's so precise with the timestamps. Glenn mentions that he just found 50 copies of Bullet on red vinyl and brought them to Bleecker Bob's in New York City. This bit of news led me to run into New York City the very next day and grab one, which I later had him autograph during our botched Samhain interview at Danceteria in 1985. That's where he's talking about where he messed up the recording. I greatly enjoyed owning that single, but sold it for a hefty sum last year to buy myself a new car. He bought himself a new car with his Bullet that he bought in 1982, probably for like, $5 or $10. Talk about a return on investment. So there it is. Those are the show notes from Greg himself. Okay. Now I have another surprise. By the way, real quick, and again, I'm just trying to plug him because, you know, we've sort of stolen his content, and I just feel like I want to make sure that we understand that this is Greg's recording, that Greg is to thank. We're just commentating and listening and enjoying it, and I don't want to take away from you guys going to his YouTube channel and exploring all of his cool stuff. So also, you could check out his band, The Harrow, if you're into death rock. Like, you know, stuff like that. He's like into post-punk and death rock and all sorts of jazz. And, you know, so check out those two links in the, well, those are his two bands. Bell Hollow is another one. Now, here's the thing, though. We're not going to actually listen to this version of the interview. Why? Because I took it and I cleaned it up. I cleaned up the interview. I put the interview through my machine, and I took out the white noise as much as I possibly could, and scrubbed it as much as I possibly could to make it more listenable. So we'll actually be able to hear better what is being said. Okay. So again, I had to we can't play it directly from Greg's thing. So what I've done is I've actually made, you can see here, I've made this in honor of Greg, just to really let people know this is Greg's recording, not my recording. And we're going to be listening to it. It's 37 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get through the whole thing right now. I'm going to start this. I'm going to start it. And we'll just, like I said, I'm going to do my start stop thing and we'll talk about it. Leave comments. We'll answer those comments. Guys, all right, here's the deal. Here's the deal for the people on Facebook real quick. If you're on Facebook, you need to get off Facebook and you need to get on the YouTube, because you're not going to be able to hear jack crap over there. You have to go to the YouTube link. That is the point of doing what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to bring people to the YouTubes away from the Facebooks. So come on over there, or else you will not be able to hear it. There we go. All right, ready for this ish. I'm listening to this blind, you guys, totally blind. I've never listened to it apart from cleaning it up. I really have not listened to it. I have no idea what is on this recording. I am going to discover and react and interject my comments. And maybe you guys can help me if, in case I don't understand what's being said, you might be able to help me. Ready? Let us begin now.
No, you're just back from the tour? Just finished one? No, about a month ago. We're getting ready to go out of tour right after Christmas. Where are you going? Everywhere.
All right, so they just came back from tour and they're about to go out again. It's December 2nd, 1982. Let's do a little bit. Sorry, we're stopping it so soon, but I need context. I want to know where exactly we are at this point in time. So according to Misfits, we're going to just go to Misfits Central for this and just make it easier, okay? According to Misfits Central, according to Misfits Central, they have some shows in Jersey coming up. The very next day, they're playing Jersey City at the Pius Club, 2 dates, on 12/3/82 and then 12/10/1982. Then they were going to do 12/17/1982. They were doing the First Congregation Church with the Necros and the FUs, and then 12/18 at Pogo's in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now, but here's the thing. So Googie is not in the band. Wow, this is actually Robo band. Robo's in the band. So I kind of messed up here. I put Walk Among Us because I thought Googie was still in the band. I didn't think about it. That was December of 82. So in fact, this is the Robo era. So Googie has left the band. Robo is fresher in the band, right? Robo comes into the band. Robo's first gig with the Misfits was September 24th, 1982. So this is December 2nd, 1982. He's about halfway through his stint with the Misfits, right? When did Robo leave? Robo played his last show. Robo played his last show on August 21st, 1983. So Robo wasn't even in the band for an entire year, just shy of a year, before he finally had enough of being in Glenn's basement, folding sleeves. Robo, you got to pay rent if you're not going to fold sleeves. I'm good. I'm folding them as fast as I can. If you've heard this story, it's hilarious. Okay, sorry, just needed some context for that. So they're going to go back out. They're getting ready to do Earth AD. That's where we are in the Misfits chronology.
California, we might even go to Hawaii.
He says we might even go to Hawaii. He's talking about all the places that he went. Where did they actually go? They went to Akron, Ohio. They did 2 shows in Dearborn, Michigan. They did a show in Chicago, Toledo, Denver, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona. They did get out to California. They went to Goleta with the Circle Jerks. They did Los Angeles, California with Youth Brigade, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, New Orleans, Channel Club. Huh. Okay. Onward.
Somebody that was on the air here about a year ago is on a station out there. Go visit him. Forget the station name. Yeah? Yeah. Go find him. Go visit all the radio stations out there. That was fun.
So sometimes touring sucks. Most of the time it's fun. Again, this is, you don't understand. If you think it's bad here, there's an echo because it's too loud in my thing. Sorry. That's because this mic is picking up what's in this can, but there's nothing I can do about that, Eric. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the beast. I'm going to lower the volume a little bit. It's super hard to hear at the beginning because everything's so fuzzed out. So we'll just power through.
How long have you been touring? Yeah, this last tour. How long was it? The tour was like 5 weeks. It was like playing 4 or 5 nights a week most of the time.
See, he's kind of embellishing right now because, oh no, never mind. He was, yeah, no, that was the EVILIVE tour. That's what he's referring to. Sorry. No, yeah. Okay, there you go. He was talking about the EVILIVE tour. But look, EVILIVE tour, September 24th, September 25th, September 26th. Again, these are the dates that are known. There might have been even more dates on this tour, and this is just, although that could probably be corroborated with a Fiend Club flyer that I don't have, that probably will tell us. I mean, they only played in all of October. They played 1, 2, 3, 4. They played on the 1st, 2nd, 8th, 12th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, 29th. I mean, that's not even half the month. You know, so actually there's a lot of echo. I can't make out what's being said. Freak. I don't know why that is. Thank you for telling me. All right, guys, it just might be because of this part of the interview. Hold on, let me see. Is the echo? Yeah, echo cancellation is on. It just might be feedback into the mic from this. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm really sorry. Hold on.
It doesn't need too much time to relax. Any places you like going? Any places you don't like going? Pretty much everywhere was good. You know, some places have a smaller scene than others, but that doesn't mean that it's not just as energetic. It's just not as many people. Yeah, you got an upcoming show tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Everybody there. That's great. Yeah, 1955 rock and roll band in Jersey City. Possibility there for tomorrow night again. Yeah. Yeah, well, these people.
I love listening to Glenn on these. Interviews, these Misfits interviews, because he seems so much more jovial. Like if you listen to him with Tim Sommer, especially, he's super duper relaxed with. You know why, Jason? Jason says it sounds good now. You know why? Because I lowered the volume here. That's what it was. Tim Sommer really knew how to relax Glenn when he talked to him, or Glenn was very relaxed around Tim Sommer. I really get that same vibe here when he talks to Pat Duncan.
North Arlington been writing. North Arlington loves the Misfits like all over everywhere. and they wrote it on this bar where his cops hang out or something. And now there was this big write-up in the paper, and they want to know who we are, and who wrote this all over the walls, and what is this? Is it a conspiracy? Pretty funny. That should be a pretty good show tomorrow night.
Yeah, what time does that start?
I think the doors open about 9:30. I know we're going on at about 11.
And that show, again, is that he's specifically talking about is at the Piest Club in Jersey City, New Jersey. That's what that show is.
Anybody else buying?
I don't know.
And that place is called the Piast Club.
Piast Club.
Jersey City on Liberty Street.
Yeah, right off Kennedy Boulevard, middle of the Journal Square.
Yeah, it's right near the PATH train. So if you're in New York, you can take the PATH out. And how big is the place, man?
It holds about 400 people, 500 people.
No, not bad. I think I have another song queued up. Let's try it. I hope it's cute.
What do you got queued?
So now here's what's interesting that needs to be mentioned. Songs, I believe some songs are played as well on this recording. And what the reason why it's so cool to hear these songs, especially I believe Die Die My Darling is played on this recording. What's cool about that is Die Die My Darling hasn't come out yet. It might be I don't know if it's possible. It could be a different mix of Die Die My Darling. It might not even be the Die Die My Darling that's on that EP, which might have been remixed again to sound even more like Earth AD, which I don't think was recorded. Wait, was Earth AD recorded? They recorded Earth AD in 82? The music they might have recorded in 82, but they haven't mixed it yet.
Blow your brains out. Mm-hmm. Or, my name is Robo. You're a girl. Come to the gig.
I turned into a Martian.
All right, that's cool.
Is it? Okay. I hope it's cute. I just stuck the needle on.
Oh, don't want to hear that.
Okay, we have a live tape down here. We're trying to queue up.
It's not live.
It isn't?
I got the live one in my pocket.
Oh.
Oh my God. I wonder what live tape that is, man. That's crazy.
Okay, that comes later.
That makes me think. You have to imagine that Glenn just has all these live tapes or had so many live recordings of the Misfits that we've never heard, that like when he would get a runoff tape, just put it in his pocket. Hey, check out my band. You know what I mean? Like, I just have to imagine. There are a lot of Misfits shows that were recorded. It's kind of amazing that we have as much audio and video that we do have. And again, everything just comes out of the woodwork all the time. Case in point, Greg just drops this crazy ass long tape on us.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
This one might be our next single. If we can find it on the tape. It's called Die Die My Darling. And I don't know where it is on there.
Okay. I have another thing.
Could you imagine back then he didn't know where it was on the tape, so they couldn't play the track. It wasn't like going on an iPod shuffle and being like, okay, Die Die My Darling, let's play it. It's like you had to find it on the tape. Like, that was the struggle back then, you know? Kind of crazy to think about that. How that little what was such a natural part of life is no longer, you know, it's like a effortless thing. What can kids do today with a cassette tape?
I have one of your EPs queued. I'm going to play that later.
Okay. I don't care.
So you feel like going into a history of the band, or you just had
started around, like me and Jerry got together like the end of 1977 and just formed like this garage band.
So he says him and Jerry got together at the end of 1977, but by the end of 1977, they had already recorded. I mean, over the summer of 77, they had recorded Cough Cool. They did their first show in April. That's so weird that Glenn would say at the end of 77. Kind of weird. I don't know why he would say that.
And then eventually we got a guitar player. We got a record, you know, it doesn't have a guitar on it. Then we got a guitar player, and we got serious, sort of. I went on a tour that summer with the Bullet record finishing out. And after that, just things
How long ago was it you played the Uncle Floyd show? Because people are constantly talking about that. Charlie was down here a couple months ago, and every other phone call.
Who's Charlie? That's what I want to know. Who is Charlie?
One of the Misfits going to be back on. When are you going to be back on the Uncle Floyd show?
Well, we tried to get back on, but he's hard to get in touch with. So, I mean, we have other things we have to do. We can't be calling him every day, you know. So, if he wants us, call us, Uncle Floyd. We'll come back on, but, you know.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Uncle Floyd Show was like a local cable access show. The Ramones were on the Uncle Floyd Show. Adrenaline OD was on the Uncle Floyd Show. Lots of, you know, punk bands who come on the Uncle Floyd Show. It was kind of like a kiddie show, like kind of like a throwback to like, you know, what was that thing? Howdy Doody from the 50s or whatever, that sort of style, via cable public access. And Uncle Floyd is a miser when it comes to his tapes. He doesn't allow any of his tapes to be uploaded. Every once in a while, something gets out, like Stiv Bader's appearance on Uncle Floyd got out, and I managed to download it. You can hear the audio from Uncle Floyd for the Misfits. It is out there. It's definitely out there. I have it. But it's very hard, if near impossible, to get that VHS. Some people say that the Misfits on Uncle Floyd don't exist anymore. That tape is gone.
And when's your new record? When do you expect the next record out?
Well, we got a live one coming out. It's just for the Fiend Club members, though. It won't be sold in any retail stores. It's only 1,000 of them, and just the people that are in the Fiend Club can get it.
How do you get in the Fiend Club?
You just send your name in.
Oh.
It's real easy. And no money. You just send your name in. I mean, the record you have to pay for, but like all the Fiend Club stuff, you don't have to pay for.
Do you have an address on that?
Yeah. It's Misfits Fiend Club, P.O. Box 3112, Grand Central Station, New York, 10163. And
nobody had a pencil.
Once they're gone, that's it.
That's a lie. That is totally a lie. Not once they're gone. You know, they most certainly kept putting them out, and you know, and again, like that's just the genius of Glenn. I'm gonna make a club, and then I'm going to directly distribute my stuff to that club, directly to cutting out the middleman, establishing his own lines of distribution. It just kind of blows my mind. Eric says the interviewer sounds similar to the guy from the Danzig One home video. That the interviewer is Pat Duncan, who was, he was like a DJ or something, and he had the Pat Duncan show, which was synonymous with WFMU, a real staple, if you will.
Well, it's on the back of the album. It'll be on the back of any other 45s. And that's it. Then we got a single coming out after that.
I mean, it's so genius when you think about it. I know it sounds so stupid, and I know it sounds like common sense. And it's like, Jeff, shut up and let's just play the interview. But you know, it's like, it's literally like I'm gonna take a flyer, a cool looking flyer. I'm gonna put it in the record. You're gonna go home. You're gonna open up your record, and this is again. There's not like a billion screens in front of kids to distract them. It's like they look at the record, and the record itself is like a TV. You're just going to study the record. You're going to look at like all the information on the record. What's this? More stuff to look at on the record. And you're just like looking at it. You're like, whoa, this is the Fiend Club. I need to join this. I'm going to send away and become a member. And Greg was one of those guys who did that. I mean, it's just so cool, man. God, I wish I could have been in the Fiend Club back then.
12-inch EP, hopefully an album in springtime.
This album's been out for a while.
Hold on,
on the back of the album. It'll be on the back of any other Misfits Fiend Club, P.O. Box 3112, Grand Central Station, New York, 10163. And
nobody had a pencil.
Once they're gone, that's it.
Limited edition.
Well, it's on the back of the album. It'll be on the back of any other 45s. And that's it. Then we got a single coming out after that, and a 12-inch EP. Hopefully an album in springtime.
This album's been out for a while now. How's it doing? I see it everywhere.
Yeah, it's doing good. No, our record company's screwing us over. I haven't seen a cent from that.
So what else?
So he's talking about Walk Among Us. It's doing good. Haven't seen any money from Slash. Thousands and thousands of copies being sold. Walk Among Us would go on to be Slash's #1 selling record today, not back then, but today. It took a while, but it finally happened.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody talk about a record company that did anything good.
No, record companies really mouth action.
Well,
Real mouth action.
how is Who Killed Marilyn?
How is it?
Yeah, you like it?
Well, after we do every record, we always say, "Oh, we could have did this, or we could have did that." You know.
What do you think your best recording is?
Our best recording?
Yeah, to date, in your opinion.
Some of the new stuff we did with Spot, you like that stuff? Yeah, we did some stuff with.
So it's so funny how Glenn will crap all over Earth AD, but back then he was stoked about the Earth AD stuff. He was he's stoked enough at least to talk about it in such a way. Do you think that he would go? I don't know. That's pretty funny.
Spot, the guy who works at Black Flag out in LA. You got to lay some vocals down on it and stuff, but that came out real good.
Gotcha. So they recorded Earth AD, just the music. They did that with Spot in California. Now they come back and he's going to do his vocals. And supposedly that's when Glenn was sleeping while Jerry and Doyle banged out the session. They put both amps facing each other. They faced each other and they were imperfect, simpatico. I've heard it said before and I totally agree. Earth AD is technically a live record without the vocals, if you think about it. Earth AD is just as much of a live record as the Ramones Alive. How about that? That's a hot take right there. That's a hot take.
That'll be some of that new stuff. It's got Robo on it. Say hi to Robo. Say hi to your girlfriend. Hi to the room.
Oh no.
It was smarter than the boxer. Where's the head to that thing?
I'm gonna play the Who Killed Marilyn.
That static is killing me, man. Even with all the static I took out, I couldn't remove that static. If I did, the recording would have sounded like it was in a washing machine. It just wasn't worth it. I was like, I'll keep that static.
From the single Who Killed Marilyn. When was that out?
It came out last summer. Not this summer, just past, but the one before that.
Are these older singles still available?
Right, 81.
Release from Hell, Halloween, and Who Killed Marilyn are the only ones that are still available.
Okay. Anything else that was?
Well, we just found 50 bullets on red vinyl, and I brought them to stores in New York. So if you're quick, you can get them like Bleecker Bobs and Sounds. That's it.
So that's where Greg heard about that cachet of bullets. And he went down the next day and picked himself up one. Yes, winds howling. I agree, man. Earth AD is groundbreaking when you think about it, for sure.
Only in New York. Nothing in Jersey.
Well, there's no stores in Jersey. I don't carry singles. Nobody would carry this stuff. Wow. And if they do carry it, they want it on consignment. And they only want to take 2 copies. On consignment, I got to drive all the way back there for the gas,
Yeah,
just to drive there. It costs more than the singles, so you just put your finger and say, later, buddy.
So that's pretty interesting. He's like, why bother doing stuff on consignment when it's 2 copies, when it costs more money in gas to go and pick up the money for the singles? It's literally like you're just giving your stuff away for free at that point. It's just not cost effective to do those singles. It's better to do an album where you're going to get a couple more bucks.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for fans out there that are trying to make it?
For those of you who might not have heard that because of the static, he says, do you have any advice for bands who are just trying to make it?
Yeah. If you're just jumping on a bandwagon, don't do it because it's not going to happen overnight. Unless you're really into it, then you're going to stick with it. You know what I mean? That's it. And then you can see the bands that stick with it, eventually it pays off. It doesn't pay off great. But nothing happens overnight. I mean, you got to be really into it. It can't be just, a money thing because the money isn't going to be there all the time. Or we went through a real dry spell where nobody would book us because it wasn't cool to be in a punk band. It was, you know, when all that disco new wave shit came in, and
Yeah, it wasn't the demand.
I wonder if he's maybe referring to what had happened with Doyle and the guitar incident. Eric asks, just curious, have you done a show about the recording of Earth AD? I'm dying to know how they got the guitar tone. I don't really know how they got that guitar tone. I have talked extensively about Earth AD. If you look in the Jerry Only interview, where we really just read over the Jerry Only interview, it goes into in-depth detail. I mean, literally what I just said. They got in a room. It was a concrete room. They faced each other. So they literally were watching the changes as they were doing it. And that's why you can hear Jerry and Doyle are so succinct. They're so synced up on that record. It sounds like it's like a bass and a guitar being operated by a single mind, in my opinion. They're just, and Robo was in the middle. So they're just, it's like the three of them, and they're just sort of all facing each other doing the thing. And then there are whole tracks of feedback where they throw the guitar in the concrete room, slam the door shut, and just let it feed back for the whole track, which is probably an extension of what Robbie Alder was doing on 3 Hits from Hell, where he was doing feedback tracks on like London Dungeon, and, you know, they would do feedback on Halloween and stuff. So I don't know. I like what Glenn's saying here, though, about you got to really just stick it out. There's no money in it, yada, yada, yada. I think that's really, you know, sometimes he speaks a little bit with hyperbole, and sometimes he speaks, you know, like a great example, that interview with Rolling Stone where he talked about how he brought all his fans to CBGBs. He didn't get paid anything, but it was their first show. What fans did he bring? He just brought a bunch of his friends to see his friend's band, to see his band at an audition showcase. You know what I mean? So, but this doesn't feel like embellished. This feels like Glenn's really talking from the heart when he's talking about this stuff, about what you got to do to make it as a band, because that's literally what they're living in this moment, I think. So,
oh, well, punk bands are too violent, it's too much of a hassle, and we were always considered too violent anyway.
Have you been having problems getting booked across the country? Is it the same everywhere?
We don't have any problems getting booked across the country. What happens is sometimes the cops come down on the shows out in LA, and we've had shows pulled right out from under us because, first off, the police situation, and then second off, our reputation.
I guess it's a lot worse out there.
LA is real bad. LA is real bad. He can tell you about that.
They really did have a reputation. They had a reputation. I guess their reputation, I would imagine, I'm trying to like think about this like from that perspective. I guess their reputation must have really exploded after Doyle hit the kid in the head with the guitar, right? Could that and the grave robbing incident, maybe more so the guitar thing. The guitar thing was what really everybody, without cell phones, without the internet, everybody knew about the story about the band that where the guitar player cracked the kid over her head with his guitar. It was just such a legendary thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Because around here, nobody can get booked anywhere. Thursday, I don't think anybody.
He says, around here, nobody can get booked anywhere. In case you couldn't hear that, I could barely hear it.
Book a band, old hardcore.
Really? I don't know. A lot of the bands have actually tried. Maybe the bands with no name, because if you're just any old band with no name, it's pretty hard.
Well, even Black Flag came through this area, and they didn't play anywhere. It was because nobody would book them because they're afraid of.
Well, Hitsville had them.
Yeah, but that was, I think, was their last hardcore show.
Yeah, it was.
And where else is there now?
Oh, this place, City Gardens in Trenton, but I heard they don't book hardcore anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh,
City Gardens in Trenton, he said, which would, wait, let's take that back. Sorry, I was spacing out for a minute. I'm just going to take that back.
And, where else is there now?
Oh, this place, City Gardens in Trenton.
City Gardens, Trenton, which is eventually closed down, but was like a huge venue. That's where Danzig did their first show at City Gardens in 1988. And you could hear a couple other people speaking in the background. I don't know if that was Jerry or Robo, but somebody else was talking. That was not Glenn.
But I heard they don't put hardcore anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, and this place that's opening up tomorrow night has possibilities. So
yeah, I really hope that goes.
Yeah, if there's a good crowd, they'll have more bands. I know the big boys are coming through, and
big boys from Texas.
Probably get I know Circle Jerk too scheduled to play there.
Yeah,
no, that's yeah, but so it should be a good turnout though. Yeah.
This is really this White Fuzz sucks, man. It was so much worse too. It really was. I mean, this thing is really cleaned up compared to what it was.
I think so. Check out the new club.
It'll be good then somewhere in Jersey. Jersey has a good crowd. Like for hardcore, I like the Jersey crowd.
There's a lot of good bands from Jersey. Yeah. And, I'm waiting for some good compilations.
Yeah, I know. I hate compilations now.
Yeah, they're good.
Some of them are good, but the ones from San Francisco, I mean, every week there's a new compilation album from San Francisco.
How many bands? About 50 bands from California.
Which one is that one? What, not so far? I don't know. Whatever. There's like every week there's a new compilation album from Frisco.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of these bands is the only way to get anything out.
A lot of those bands have vinyl out. They should just, instead of relying on the record companies to put out all their stuff, they should just, instead of putting the money into their arm or, or into, the rent or I don't know, they should just try and put out their own product.
Right. I mean, that's what he did. That's literally what he did. He would just, he was like, screw this. I'm going to just put out my own product. And eventually they did get tangled up with, they got tangled up with Slash and got burned pretty bad. And then he did Earth AD on his own. And then eventually what he did was he found distribution. He found the ultimate, sort of compromise or the best middle ground. He found distribution via Caroline. So he's doing Plan 9 stuff for Samhain. Caroline's distributing it. I mean, Glenn must have been making some money by then, like really making money in addition to the money that he was making from the Fiend Club, especially in Samhain, I would imagine. You'd have to imagine by that point.
Plus money. Nobody around here will book them.
Yeah, around here, but in Frisco.
Yeah.
Not, they got Reno, West Coast, they got Seattle, Oregon, A lot of bands in Frisco.
I mean, it doesn't even sound like he's talking on mic. It sounds like the microphone is like right here, and he's just sort of like off mic pattern, off the pickup pattern, just sort of casually chatting. So far, I gotta say, the first 11 minutes is nothing. I mean, it's just I'm not very impressed with the first 11 minutes. No matter what, it's great because it's like never before heard. This is so cool that we're hearing this thing, but it so far there's nothing. I don't know. No juicy tidbits.
Yeah, let's go into another song. How about My Health Briefly?
Fine.
From the album. From the album.
So you got one of those FM voices. From the album. Oh, Doyle.
Yeah, you haven't said anything yet.
Oh, yes, I did. No, now it's gonna come.
Oh my God, do you hear Baby Doyle? Oh my God. That's so Doyle's voice, but it's like Doyle. That's like, 1982? That's like 18-year-old Doyle, dude.
What have you been wanting to tell?
No, not really. Hi to everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to open up the phone.
Cannot hear.
Everybody. From the album. It could be. Oh, Doyle.
Yeah, you haven't said anything yet.
Oh, yes, I did. No, now it's gonna come.
What have you been wanting to tell? Anything?
No, not really. Bye for everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna open up the phone.
Okay, good.
So now they're opening up the phones.
The song you got queued up? Die Down My Darling.
Okay, playing Die. So what's interesting is for 2 years, if you listen to this broadcast and you tape this song, you had Die Down My Darling. You had a rare Misfits track that nobody had heard before.
The next one might be the title song. The next one. Well, some people have heard it, but not right here.
Yeah, okay. Want to go into that?
Yeah, it's one of the favorites that we got in the Midwest. So,
what do you write about?
Huh?
What's your favorite theme? Anything in particular?
Write about violence, death.
Violence, death.
Gore, murder, everything, you know, just anything. Yeah, not specifically that, but
See, that's interesting to me because it's just like, it's just hearing, I mean, that's when he's in that mindset of writing that kind of stuff. And that's his response when someone's like, what are you writing about? He's not like, well, I'm influenced by Charles Bukowski and I'm trying to write, you know, sort of alliteration via beat poetry, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, gore, murder, death. Like, cause that's just the way, it's just the way his mind is wired.
You just mentioned something about a movie coming out.
Oh yeah, we're going to do a soundtrack for Blood Feast 2.
We're going to do a soundtrack to Blood Feast 2. Okay, eventually there was a Blood Feast 2. I have it. It's right on the shelf over there. But Blood Feast 2 didn't come out till like 2004. It has John Waters in it, by the way. Glenn said they were going to do a soundtrack for Blood Feast 2.
Be like a few actual songs and then actually some soundtrack music, you know, like the stuff you do in the back. A soundtrack for Blood Feast 2. Be like a few actual songs and then actually some soundtrack music, you know, like the stuff you do in the background of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying that we're going to do a soundtrack with like ambience, like the stuff that you hear from the movies for Blood Feast 2.
I know they got a few other bands lined up to do just songs on it.
Should be interesting. Any release date on this? Or?
Well, the movie should be ready next year to be released. It's like a takeoff on the original Blood Feast, Herschel Gordon Lewis movie. That's the movie that actually started all the gore in movies back in the 60s. The only place the movie could play was like X-rated theaters because of the gore.
Wow, that is so cool. All right, so nowhere has it ever been documented that, you know, at least so Glenn claims, like they're going to do the soundtrack for Blood Feast 2. They're going to do, it's not just the like songs that they're going to do, or they might do some songs, but they're going to do like the ambience, but the movie is not going to be ready until next year. How does he know that? Herschel Gordon Lewis ended up making Blood Feast 2. So who was it? Oh, wow. You know what? I wonder if, okay, so there was another film that is based on Blood Feast. It's called Blood Diner, VHS film. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get it right now. Wait. Don't move. Don't you move. Where is it? Where is it? Blood Diner. Blood Diner. This is directed by, I believe, Jackie Kong directed this, and it came out in 1987. It was written by the dude who Dookie Flyswatter, Michael something wrote it. Michael Sohn wrote it, and it was directed by Jackie Kong. Okay. It's called Blood Diner, and it's basically a remake of Blood Feast. This is the actual copy from my video store, from my personal horror section that I used to love going to as a kid. Oh, God, do I miss it. Be Kind, Rewind, Music Plus Movies. I wonder if this is the film that Glenn is talking about. Was it Blood Feast? Well, I mean, was Blood Feast 2 actually going to be Blood would Blood Feast 2 turn into Blood Diner 5 years later? You know, he said other bands were going to be on the soundtrack, because I've never heard of anything about Blood Feast 2, you know, back in the 80s. Blood Feast 2. Now I got to check it out. Let's take a look. Let's do a little detective work here. So Blood Feast 2 came out in Blood Feast 2 All You Can Eat came out in 2002, right? It's directed by Herschel Gordon Lewis as well. John Waters is in it. Detective Loomis, blah, blah, blah. Fuad's in it. No, but there's nothing about a 1982 version that I am seeing. So is it possible that the Blood Feast 2 that the Misfits were going to be on is actually or would turn into Blood Diner? By the way, this guy Dookie Flyswatter, he is the lead singer for a band who wrote this movie. He's the lead singer for a band called Haunted Garage. Shout out to Kevin Rankin, Kevin 45, who listens to this show. He's a huge Haunted Garage fan. As a matter of fact, he's the reason why I know who Haunted Garage is in the first place. But I had never made the connection that this guy was also that guy. Kind of interesting. Also, Herbert West, Jeffrey Combs' personal makeup assistant who works for K&B Effects, plays in the latest version of Haunted Garage as well. All right, sorry, that was such a tangent. Back to the interview.
Is this going to be a remake or?
It's a takeoff. It's like Blood Feast 2.
Oh, okay.
So in other words, again, Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Blood Feast, and Blood Feast 2.
Sounds interesting. Let's hear the upcoming single.
Good.
Good.
You like it?
I like it.
Yeah. It's not like, we do fast for the sake of being fast. We try to, on this next record, we try to, keep some regular Misfits stuff and, in our past culture, all that stuff.
Yes, Oni. I was literally just saying that. It did. It came out in 2002. I have it over there. But this is just insane. I've never heard anything like that. I never heard that there was that the Misfits were supposed to do a soundtrack. Now, here's my question. Here's my real question about that. Is this how Jerry gets the idea in the 90s to try and get on every soundtrack he possibly can? He writes a song Scream for Scream. He writes Land of the Dead for Land of the Dead. Mars Attacks is for Mars Attacks. Lost in Space for Lost in Space. Forbidden Zone is for Planet of the Apes in 2001. Is this Jerry? There's the movie Hate the Living, Love the Dead. Came out the exact same time as Famous Monsters in 1999. So my question is this Jerry trying to continue or did Jerry get that idea from this idea of Blood Feast 2? I really don't know.
You want to try opening up the phone lines?
Yeah, man.
Ooh, the phone lines.
The number is 201-266-7900. That's busy, so
guys, let's call in.
Call 7901 or 790.
Because that's what you used to do back in the day. Just the way that we do it now. I could literally have an invite link for someone to come on and chat with me. Back in the day, you would just call into the show to talk on the show. I mean, people still do that right now. Oni says, reminds me of when Glenn and Erie were trying to write a soundtrack for a horror movie they were going to make. Yeah, I mean, Glenn, at the end of the Misfits, Glenn had a lot of, he wanted to start doing original horror. Oh, no, that was in Samhain. They wanted to do original horror cassettes that he would direct. So he wanted to do short form stories that he would put out on VHS and sell through the Fiend Club. It was literally an extension of what he was doing with music. And he wanted to do it with movies too, with VHS movies, which wouldn't happen for another 25, 30 years or whatever, 30 years, which I guess some of that came out on Black. Yeah. Yes, it did.
So, yeah, I'll try the phone.
All right, let's hear some of these callers.
And let's wait for some phone calls. Don't try 7900. There's somebody on it. 266-7901.
Hey, Greg, I wish you cut this stuff out. Kind of.
Okay, hang on.
You don't want to talk to. Yeah, we want to talk to Robo or Glenn?
Glenn.
Yeah, that's it.
I want to know if you can be releasing the Wasp.
Are we gonna what?
Releasing the Wasp.
Queen Wasp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greatest song in the fucking world.
It's the greatest song in the world.
So right, because they're doing Queen Wasp live in the set. So now, and they, you know, Queen Wasp would be on Earth AD. So there you go.
What record can we do it on?
The live EP is got like 20 Eyes, Night of Living Dead, Hard Business, oh fuck, what else? Some other bullshit. I Know All Hell Breaks Loose, London Dungeon, 138 with Henry from Black Flag, singing on it. Some other stuff like that. It's like 7 songs. And you can only hear in the Fiend Club, right? Yeah, you get it. No problem. You get a little thing in the mail.
So you got guys calling in on the Fiend Club. And by the way, the recording sounds so much better now, right? Like it was so crappy before. Now it sounds good.
Because it's a very limited edition on that.
How's Terry doing? Yeah. Are this got better or what?
Yeah, well, we went out on tour.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's cool.
That's cool. All right.
Take care, Dave.
You say take care, babe. I guess Jerry is not actually in the studio with them. That means I think it's Doyle, Jerry, and Robo. I don't think Jerry's there.
Yeah, FMU.
Yeah, I'd like to know when you're going to play New York again. You haven't played since June.
Well, we've had a lot of shows booked in New York, but there's a congressman who lives across the street from the Irving Plaza, and every time we set up a show there, he has it canceled.
Wow.
So we've got the show booked for next week at, you know, the Irving, and so far it's a go. It may get canceled, it may not, but
wow.
If it gets canceled, it might get moved to the Rock Lounge. So either way, we will be playing.
Who booked that? That cunt Mimi?
Yeah.
She's a cunt, man. Fucking don't be confused. It does get canceled.
You know, first of all, this guy's throwing C-bombs live on the air on the radio. I wonder if the FCC threw the hammer down, or I guess maybe that's like local radio. So doesn't, who knows? I guess maybe they don't have any jurisdiction there. Too. So they're talking about an Irving Plaza show, but again, if you look at our Bible, that is Misfits Central, you don't see anything like that. Speaking of Misfits Central, I'll show you one cool thing. Stay tuned. Stick around for the end of this episode because I'm going to show you something really cool. Really cool. If you know Misfits Central, you will appreciate this truly.
Yeah. Well, she's canceled our Halloween show and another show.
What happened to Travis? Who didn't show up?
Wait, so there was what was the Halloween show? Yeah, look at that. So they had a canceled show on 10/30/1982 at Terminal 406 in Baltimore, Maryland. That was canceled, and then they didn't play according to this. Not sure if this is true or not. Huh. Well, how about that? Not sure if this is true or not, but there is no Halloween show. So which was the show that Tim Somer introduced them at? Could that have been in 1981? And I'm just crazy. They didn't, according to this, they didn't do a Halloween show in 82. I'm almost positive they did, though. And I'm almost positive it was at Irving Plaza. Yo, Brandon, Brandon is such a troll, dude. Why do you keep always dropping you're always dropping in about Michale Graves and is he here and where is he? Brendan, you know the answer to these questions. Stop being a troll, man. Come on, get off it now. Come on, you crazo, Brendan. I want to know if they grew up with sauce on Sundays. I always imagine that they did. Okay, so I'm not an Italian. I don't know if I got this just right. When you say sauce on Sundays, are you referring to what I understand from, my Italian brothers and sisters is You don't have Brandon. I'm glad. I appreciate your sense of humor, dude. You're funny. That's funny. Okay, I'm glad you could fess up to that. I was so confused for so long. You're cool, Brendan. That's cool. Sauce on Sundays is the tradition in Italian families where you have Sunday dinner. It's a big thing in I don't know if every Italian family, but you know, and you make the sauce. You make the sauce, which is the tomato sauce for the spaghetti, because you always have spaghetti for the Sunday dinner. Am I correct, Wins? Someone who's Italian, confirm that I am correct on this. I don't know. I'm not Italian. I'd love to know. But I'm guessing that's what Sauce on Sundays is. Back to this recording.
What, at A7? What, we were supposed to play A7?
Well, that's what everyone's saying. Everyone kept saying one guy didn't show up, but there are like 10 million different stories.
Well, I don't know. I was home throwing up. I don't know what everybody else was doing.
So this guy's asking him, I'm sorry, because I keep starting and stopping this bullshit. I keep stopping and starting this bullshit, and I'm really sorry about that. Hold on. Ready?
Yeah. Well, she's canceled our Halloween show and another show.
What happened to A7? Who didn't show up?
A7.
What, at A7? What, we were supposed to play A7?
Well, that's what everyone's saying. Everyone kept saying one guy didn't show up, but there are like 10 million different stories.
Well, I don't know. I was home throwing up. I don't know what everybody else was doing.
Glenn was home throwing up.
That's about it.
Oh,
all right.
Well, play New York, man. I don't want to be in fucking Jersey at 4 in the morning.
No. Come see us tomorrow night.
I had practice. I can't make it out of Jersey.
Oh, where are you from?
Who is this guy?
New York?
Yeah, Queens.
From Queens?
Yeah.
Oh, Googie's hometown.
Googie from Roosevelt, man. Roosevelt Avenue.
All right. Yeah, well, we want to play New York, you know?
Yeah.
So
Googie's already out of the band. They've already had the fight about the cheeseburgers. Oh my God, there's 4 people on Facebook. Guys, you're missing. We're listening to the radio show on YouTube. You got to come over to YouTube and hear the radio show. You're missing it. You can't hear what we hear.
Well, if we're playing next week, come down.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah, let's want to go into the EP? Or you want to, well, single, rather. Halloween one?
Okay, you want to take another call?
These calls are amazing. Greg, thank you for this tape, dude. This call is so funny. Like, these calls are so funny. I wish we had like 1,000 tapes of the Misfits just taking calls.
No, you could take a call. Take a call, bro.
All right, look. Yeah, Glenn. Yeah, hold on.
What is it?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much.
What are you doing?
Answering phone calls from crazy nutty people. Who are you?
Good fucking show.
Good show, you right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Peppy's band?
Huh?
What's going on, Peppy's band?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
This winter, we're working on it.
Yeah, you guys.
Man, those East Coast accents, man, those Jersey, New York accents.
We'll show you. You prick.
You coming down tomorrow?
Where is it?
In Jersey City.
All right, put me and Janet on the guest list.
Are you putting you in John? Why? What are you gonna do?
I'll work for you tomorrow.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You clean toilet?
What time you want me? What time you want me, you prick?
Have you ever heard Glenn like this? I've never heard Glenn having such a good time like this. This is so like jovial and awesome.
Okay, show up there about 4 or 5 in the morning.
4 in the morning. Up your ass.
Please come down normal time.
With Jerry.
This is gold.
Jerry.
Working.
Working?
Yeah.
Back with the old man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, glad to hear it. Hey, listen.
So, Jerry's working with the old man. So that's probably where Jerry is right now. He's probably at Pro Edge. Jerry's had a daughter, right? Jerry either got married or at least was a father by 1982, and it's late 1982. So I'd say his daughter was probably already born. So Jerry's got a brand new family while he's still trying to do the Misfits.
What time? About 7 or so. Where? In Jersey City at the PS Club. The PS Club? Yeah. Where is it? Take it easy, be all right. It's in Jersey City. All right, I'll call later. Okay, all right, bye.
He's just breaking his balls.
You're on. Yeah. Hey, you guys from Jersey? Yeah. How come you guys don't say that you're from Jersey then?
That was amazing. I want that as a ringtone. Hey, you guys from Jersey? Yeah. How come you guys don't say you're from Jersey? Oh my God, is that amazing? Hold on, we got to play that back. That was awesome. Wait, ready?
Yeah. Where is it? Take it easy, be all right. It's in Jersey City.
I love that.
Okay,
did you hear that? Ready? Right now. Ready?
You're on. Yeah. Hey, you guys from Jersey? Yeah. How come you guys don't say that you're from Jersey then? When don't we say we're from Jersey? Oh, well, that's what I hear in other fanzines. In what fanzines? Flipside ones. Flipside ones? Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on the way you look at it. Hey, you guys from Jersey? Yeah. How come you guys don't say that you're from Jersey?
Hey, you guys from Jersey? Yeah. How come you guys don't say you guys from Jersey?
When don't we say we're from Jersey?
When we don't say we're from Jersey.
In other fanzines. In what fanzines? With the Flipside ones. Flipside ones? Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on the way you look at it.
That's right.
I'm from Jersey originally, and then I moved to New York for a while. Oh, how come? Okay, and Bobby and our other drummer were from Jersey and also had moved to New York. So originally we were New York based.
See, they're a New York based band. I don't care what anybody says. The Prudential Center show was absolutely, unequivocally not the hometown show. I don't care what anybody says. F you all. The freaking New York City, the Madison Square Garden show is the hometown show because they are a New York-based band. Let's talk about how he lived in New York. Bobby moved to New York. He'd stay in New York for forever and ever and ever. Freaking Joey was in New York. You know, they were a New York band, the 1979 band that made their bones, that broke big in Max's Kansas City and Hurrah and all those places in Irving Plaza and whatnot. That was a New York City band. That was not a Jersey band.
Okay. So it's like a lot of confusion. Okay. Robo's from California. Are we going to say we're from Jersey? What's happening is this, wherever you move, that's what people think that you're from, I mean, a lot of people think Crucial Truth are from New York and they're from Florida. Okay? We're not responsible for what people say, where we're from or whatever. If you look in the new My Rules book, it says we're from Lodi, New Jersey. Okay? And why did your ex-drummer quit? Who? Googie? Yeah. He didn't quit. What happened? What do you mean what happened? They just a conflict of interest with both. Him, when
Glenn is being very professional. There's no mention of cheeseburgers. There's no mention of self-fellatio. There's no mention of cutting Googie's hair off on the cover of Walk Among Us. You can actually, if you look to your my right, your left, you can see Googie's hair. You can see that he's got an egghead, and you can see that he's missing his watch.
After what do you call that, matinee last week? What matinee? In CBGB's. Yeah. And he was talking to me, and he said he quit because these guys spread rumors that you fired him. He quit. Yeah. No, that's not true. It's both. We got Robo, and he got to get in his own band. Okay. Yeah, antidote. Yeah. Because he told me he quit. Well, I don't care what he told you. What do I care?
That's amazing. And I love the way how cool Glenn handled that. That was great. Brendan wants to know, I'm also wondering if I can text you somewhere like on social media or something because you want to talk to me. Well, I'll tell you what, Brendan, here's what you can do. If you want to talk to me, you can send me an email at this address. If anybody wants to send me an email, you can do so here. How about that? videobusinessmedia@gmail.com. That is the best way to officially reach me. How about that? So thanks, Brendan.
weren't on the trash tape?
Huh?
How come you guys weren't on the trash tape?
Well, I don't know, because we didn't want to be.
The tracks tape. Wait, what
Because
the?
you suck.
Whoa,
You
what?
guys weren't on the trash.
That guy was so funny. That guy is so funny. This guy's like, hey, how come, are you guys from Jersey? You guys don't say you from Jersey. Are you from Jersey? You know, and then he goes like, yeah, we're from Jersey. It all depends. Well, it's not this Glenn. This Glenn is such a far cry from the original jovial, you know, Misfits Glenn that we're listening to right now on this radio.
Both, we got Robo and he got to get in his own band. Okay?
Yeah, antidote.
Yeah.
Because he told me he quit.
Well, I don't care what he...
So this is clearly like Googie being like, hey, go call them guys up, okay? Go call them guys up on the WFMU and then break their balls for me, okay? You know, give them nonsense. So this guy's obviously one of Googie's friends, just like totally, you know, just breaking their balls because they, you know, because they parted ways as a cohesive band unit because Googie wanted 2 cheeseburgers.
He told you. What do I care?
How come you guys weren't on the trash tape?
Huh?
The tracks tape.
How come you guys weren't on the trash tape?
What's the tracks tape?
Well, I don't know, because we didn't want to be.
Probably because you suck.
I guess that's the hater that Greg was referring to on the thing. Hey, how come you guys ain't from Jersey? Huh? How come you guys say you ain't from Jersey when you're from Jersey?
Wait a minute, let me say something. Over to you.
Okay.
Yeah, the kid who just called up, why don't you call back and give me your name if you're so brave, okay? You give me your name and call back right now. There's nobody on, okay?
All right, let's go into the rest.
Is this not the equivalent of like, this is so the equivalent of talking trash on the internet, like before the internet. You call up on radio, yeah, you weren't on it because you suck. and then Glenn's like, it's just like being on Facebook and someone's like, all right, give me your address and I will come over to your house and beat you up. It's like the same exact thing. That's so funny, man.
Record. Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
You want to take some more calls?
Fine.
Before we go, a bunch of people have been asking me if I know anything about that thing. What was it, Halloween night in the graveyard? You got arrested or something?
Not Halloween night. We had gotten arrested down in New Orleans for being in the graveyard when we weren't supposed to.
Oh.
Like a bunch of us and our fans and friends and stuff like that.
Just hanging out.
And the cops were real fucked up down there.
The cops did very bad things that night to the kids that were in that cemetery. They like punched girls in the face. It was really bad. And New Orleans at that time was really bad. To be in New Orleans at that time at like nighttime was like very dangerous. It was very dangerous where they were and what they were doing.
They called themselves a new Gestapo. They said to us. They broke some girl's nose. And
yeah, see? Exactly.
Okay, that's something people have been saying.
Funny story is, Rocky, who tells the whole tale on one of these tapes, is Rocky, Jerry and Doyle's brother, is on one of these tapes that I was digitizing. I don't know if you guys were here at the beginning when I was talking about all the tapes I was digitizing. Rocky told me the entire graveyard story from front to back from his point of view. I can't wait to listen back to it and see if they're like what the details are. I'm super excited for that. That is going to be a fun listen.
Talking about just wondering what was going on.
Okay, something I'd like to say is a lot of people out there, if you don't like our music or what we do, just don't buy our records and don't come see us. And that answers the problem real easy. Okay?
Glenn is the man, dude.
I don't want to hear you moaning or complaining. If you don't like us, don't come see us and don't buy our records, and that's fine with me. I don't want to hear you moaning or complaining. Okay? What we do, just
wondering what was going on.
Okay, something I'd like to say is a lot of people out there, if you don't like our music or what we do, just don't buy our records and don't come see us. And that answers the problem real easy. Okay? I don't want to hear you moaning or complaining. If you don't like us, don't come see us and don't buy our records. And that's fine with me.
What a badass.
Hey, you want to take some more calls?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I am such a fan of Glenn Danzig and his brand and his band. I just, I love it, man.
FMU. Okay, want to talk about that? Okay.
Robo.
Oh, please let Robo go on.
Hi.
Uh-huh.
How you doing?
Okay. How you doing?
All right, you guys play really good. I mean,
We do.
well, I didn't know about that.
What's your name?
Lauren.
Lauren? Where you from?
Listen to Robo. I don't think I've ever heard Robo, like, at all. Like, this is amazing. And he's, like, totally flirting with this girl over the phone.
What?
I don't know, around here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up?
Nothing.
Nothing? Just hanging out, huh?
Yep.
We coming to the show tomorrow?
Yep.
You are?
Yeah.
Robo's like, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I see you tomorrow. Bye.
They shouldn't call him Robo. They should call him Romeo.
Yellow.
Yeah, Yellow.
The Misfits.
The Misfits. Yeah, what about him?
Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Mm-mm.
Do you guys know where North Arlington is?
No, Arlington, no, not me. Maybe Glenn knows. Yeah, we know.
'Cause there seems to be like a lot of graffiti around town over the Misfits.
Really? Why? What does it say?
It's got like a skull
Uh-huh.
and the bulging eyes and says Misfits.
Good.
Yeah, on the side of hysterically it says Misfits.
All right, great. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's going around.
That's Robo's answer. Great. Sounds good.
I figured out who did it. There's not many punks around here and shit like that.
Well, must be somebody.
Well, must be somebody.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how many albums you guys got out?
Just one album, a whole bunch of singles, EPs.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This is so cool. I've never heard Robo like talk this much before. This is so cool.
Well, this is Bill from North Arlington anyway.
Right on, Bill.
So good luck to you guys.
Hi.
Take care.
Later.
That's awesome.
Hello.
Hey, can I speak to Glenn?
Sure, hold on. Yeah, who's this?
Hey, Glenn?
Yeah.
What do you think of Captain Sensible's new single, man?
I think it sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think of,
I hate disco music, so don't ask me about any disco records.
really?
Yeah.
That's cool. See ya.
So long. Who's this?
Yeah, can I talk to like one of the band members?
You got one.
Dude, this is so, I mean, this is literally the best thing I could have ever hoped for. Like the best buried treasure I could ever want is right here on this tape. Thank you, Greg. Thank you.
Oh, okay, like about that Halloween thing, like where you guys got busted in front of the graveyard or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I heard like you were trying to find some voodoo guy or something. He was supposed to be in the graveyard. Like,
A voodoo queen.
yeah, like what were you gonna do? Like dig him up and use his skeleton for like Halloween or something?
Nah, we had dug somebody up, but the cops came right when we got the call. No.
That is 150% true. They were looking for a voodoo queen, Mariana Laveau or something. Glenn got on his hands and knees, opened up one of the above ground crypts, crawled in, and I quote, started pulling out long black things out of the crypt or the coffin or whatever. And then the cops came. So when Glenn says we dug somebody up, he is not lying. He is not lying. That is true.
Oh, like
That's a detail that always gets left out. And there, they just said it on the tape. That's amazing. What a document this is. This tape, for the first 10 minutes, it's really kind of boring. And then all of a sudden, the next 10 minutes are unbelievable.
a
voodoo queen.
Yeah, like what were you gonna do? Like dig him up and use his skeleton for like Halloween or something?
Nah, we had
dug somebody up, but the cops came right when we got the call.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
that's pumped up, man. Like, hang them on your door instead of like a little cardboard one or something.
I got a whole bunch home.
Oh, like, hey, like, you guys playing Friday, but like, are you playing Tuesday also?
Where Tuesday? Where?
I mean, he literally, I mean, think about it. Glenn had the chicken bone necklace around his neck. He collected skulls. They're in Louisiana, in New Orleans. Of course, Glenn was grave. Of course, Glenn was trying to take some bones with him. And the fact that in 1982, a couple of months later, like somebody calls up on the radio, they've already heard the story. The story has already made its way to New York from New Orleans. And again, like, I just imagine that information just moves at a snail's pace. I mean, that's not true. And information can move at a telephone call's pace. So somebody maybe from New Orleans who knows more about it is calling up someone in New York and be like, did you hear what the Misfits did? They got arrested. Like, it's crazy to think about how these guys cultivated this mythology, this myth of who they were at this time. It blows my mind.
I heard you were playing like Tuesday, the same place, but I guess that's wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong.
Okay, well, like, if we make it, like, we're bringing these guys that never been to a gig before, we're gonna try and get them on stage, throw them off and stuff. You guys play real fine, so, you know, we show these guys what it's like, okay?
You got it.
All right, well, later.
So long. Yeah.
You can hear bleed through from other radio stations because he's so far out.
Hey, Glenn, this is Matt from Brooklyn. I'm just wondering how I can get there tomorrow night.
Oh, shit. I don't know.
From the city, there's no train or bus or anything.
Is there a bus?
I mean, how Glenn is going to tell him how to get from Brooklyn to Manhattan when he's from Lodi and only lived in Manhattan? Not going to happen.
The passenger train goes there to Jersey City. It goes right to Journal Square. Runs all night. Yeah.
All right, great. You playing with the Nihilistics, I heard?
No, not in Jersey City.
Who are you playing with in Jersey City?
They would eventually play with the Nihilistics, and I have those goofballs on one of these tapes for that interview.
I don't know who they got on. I don't even know if they have another band.
And Irving Plaza, who are you going to be playing with?
Gangrene and Nihilistics.
Oh, you fucking playing with Gangrene?
Yeah.
But what happened about Who's-Skidoo? I mean...
Who's-Skidoo? What are you
I heard you guys supposed to play with Who's-Skidoo and the Nihilistics.
No.
All right.
That's a weird bill.
See you tomorrow night, all right?
Okay, so long. Yeah.
Hi, this is Dave from Brooklyn.
Yeah, what's up, Dave?
Nothing much. How are you?
Pretty good.
I wanted to ask you a question. Do you have an EP called 3 Hits from Hell?
Yeah.
Could you tell me what's on that?
London Dungeon, Horror Hotel, and Ghouls Night Out.
Oh, that's great. Are you guys ever gonna come to Brooklyn? I know there's not any, clubs in Brooklyn to play,
Well, how are we gonna go?
There's a place called Fastest.
Yeah,
But-
we tried to get booked there.
No deal.
Well, I think they're scared of us.
Well, but what is funny, though, is that, Glenn's kind of chuckling about how there's no place to play in Brooklyn. But now, or at least not now, like a year ago before COVID, the only place you could play was Brooklyn. Like, Brooklyn is where you could play. There's so few venues in Manhattan these days. It's like, and parking is a pain in the ass. It's crazy how things change.
I don't know what, I mean, they've had other bands there, and they're just like, they want you to go through the whole routine of the press kit and everything. So we nailed them all out. So we're gonna go. Yeah, I mean, we love to play in Brooklyn.
You guys are great. You gotta be.
Getting all wishy-washy again.
Yeah, we get a lot of mail from Brooklyn. Brooklyn's happening. Great, yeah.
We're gonna be down at the gig. Whenever.
Yeah, if you want to come down tomorrow night, you can take the Pat train right there.
Yeah.
It runs all night.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be there.
Okay. Take care.
Hello?
Hello, Glenn?
No, hold on.
This is so funny.
Hi, do you guys have an EP called Beware the Misfits?
Yeah, it's a 12-incher
That's Greg. That's Greg right there. He's asking about Beware.
from England.
Is that still available?
So there is our hero, who, this man right here, who taped this interview that we are just making a meal out of. That's Greg himself calling up.
Hello?
Hello, Glenn?
No, hold on.
Oh, yes. Hi, do you guys have an EP called Beware the Misfits?
Yeah, it's a 12-incher from England.
Is that still available at all?
Well, I know they put it out again. But I don't know. They're being real sneaky about it because they haven't paid us any money for that. So you got to be, you got to look for it. And you can find it like a lot of places in New York.
How many songs do you have on it?
7.
7?
Yeah.
That's good. Also,
And you know what's so crazy? It'd be like, Greg, go fucking Google it, man. But it's like, Greg can't Google it. Greg, if Greg doesn't have a copy or if Greg doesn't have a fanzine, the only way Greg's going to find out is if he calls up Glenn Danzig on a live radio show and ask him for this information that he can then write it down. There is no Misfit Central. There is no internet. It just blows your mind how information back then was just, it was so hard to come by information when you were into something that was obscure, not something that was common, not something you could go to the library for, not something you could look up, microfilm and newspaper reels. Stuff like this was extra. I mean, it was extra special because you had to really dig. You had to really look for it. You had to find the right people. Information was like a commodity, I guess, in a weird kind of way.
what's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie? That's tough. I like a lot of them. I like the gory ones. The ones that ain't too stupid, but are still gory and gruesome and graphic.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Good job. Good job, Greg.
We're going to go back to some more music for a few minutes. We'll take some more calls in a little while. We were just talking about 3 Hits from Hell.
Yeah.
About horror hotel.
But
It was a terrible time. I really can't imagine. I mean, for me personally, so I grew up with computers in the sense of I'm born in 85. I probably am using my first computer in 1993, 1992 in the classroom because they started us really young on computers. By 1996, there's AOL. So I'm starting to connect with people in chat rooms. Winamp comes out. 1998 through 1999 is the continuation of this AOL culture. And then the year 2000, 2001 breaks. You have everything switches over to AIM. Napster breaks wide open. Internet evolves from like Geocities and like, what was this other Angel Fire, all those websites, and like it explodes. And then you have Facebook and MySpace come. And then before you know it, it's like information is at your fingertips. I was talking about this on that episode with Russell and Ramey Stein. It's like information. If you had to get information, you got it from a web ring. A web ring was like an alliance of websites. This is like the infancy of the internet. This is like if I was born in the year 1900 and I'm talking about the first black and white TVs that came out in like 1931 or something. Like, there were web rings and you could find, they were like the first niche. It was the first place we can go for niche fandom, I got into the Misfits and Samhain in 85, and you literally had to go meet people to even learn what albums existed. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what that was like. And that's why when you think about the zine culture and the fanzine culture, how incredibly important it really wasn't. It wasn't so much like, it wasn't an arts and craft project. It was a legitimate news source where people got their information. I mean, that's how people found out about bands. That's how people found out about discographies or filmographies, where they read interviews. Nobody was interviewing the Plasmatics in People magazine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to go and get these zines and like, And that's where something like Big Takeover Magazine, which, you know, Jack Rabbit did, you know, had been doing since 1980 or 1981. It's crazy. All right. We got to get through this interview. We're almost done. Jesus, with the friggin' bleed through static. It's so annoying. I don't like it. Come on. Come on. Come on.
And that was back to the album. And, you want to take some more calls?
Oh, yeah. Take some more calls.
You don't mind us swearing. If anybody busts my balls, I'm going to tell them right away. I don't dig them.
Glenn's temperature is rising.
Yeah, FMU. They hung up. Yo.
Glenn.
Yeah.
How you doing? I'm Steve from the band Morning Noise.
Yeah, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I just want to tell you, I've been listening to you.
Yo.
It's Steve.
Glenn.
Yeah.
Dude, it's Steve. Yo, Steve Zing. What's up, buddy? Oh, my God. All right, Steve, your voice is not like, hi, hey, it's me, Steve. But your voice is like, it's like a baby. It's a baby Zing. It's a little baby Zing. This is so crazy. My question, I'm going to have to text Steve and ask him, is this his first time? No, it's not his first time meeting Glenn. Because Steve would listen to the practices and going back to 78. Now, what's interesting, though, is Steve, of course, because Glenn did the album layout artwork for the Morning Noise EP. So, of course, this is not an introduction. This is not an introduction. But literally, by the end of this year, so this is 82. By the end, in 1 year's time, Steve is going to be developing Samhain with Glenn Danzig, right? That's what's happening a year from this conversation that we're about to hear. Steve had been listening to the Misfits as early as 1978. His apartment complex was right next to Jerry's house on Grove Street. And he could hear the Misfits playing from his bedroom, and he would come and he'd listen from his rooftop and listen to Misfits practice. And eventually he was in the same grade as Doyle, and Doyle would give him tapes, gave him Static Age tapes. That's Steve's favorite stuff, is the Static Age stuff. Steve has been on the show. Steve is a friend. I directed a music video for Steve, but it's just so funny. I don't know why I'm telling you all that. It's just that it's so funny to hear a young Steve, because I'm just not used to that. I'm just so not used to that. It's so funny. That's Steve 39 years ago, man. Steve. All right, ready? All right, I'll just play it now. I'll shut up. I mean, this is the bassist of Danzig talking to the lead singer of Danzig. I was just crazy.
How you doing? I'm Steve from the band Morning Noise.
Yeah, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I just want to.
So it sounds like from Glenn's perspective, it's like there doesn't seem to be. I bet you it's like the type of thing where Steve was always around or something. I have to ask him, honestly. I don't know. But I imagine it's the thing where Steve has been around or hanging around. He hangs around with Doyle and yada yada yada. But like he doesn't know Glenn the way he would get to know Glenn at this point in time. He was still in the peripheral.
Hey, I've been listening to you since '77, and you're the greatest.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You know, I think with Robo, now you've really got it made.
Yeah, Robo is good.
All right, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I just want to tell you, I've been listening to you since '77, and you're the greatest.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You know, I think with Robo, now you've really got it made.
Yeah, Robo is a good drummer.
Yeah, when I hear you practice, because I live around the corner in the village.
Do you?
Yeah. When I hear you practice, man, it's great.
Yeah, well, I heard your tape the other day by George.
Yeah, that's what
I think it's good.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks.
Look at that. Listen to that. Listen to that. I mean, Greg, what a friggin' tape.
Now, I'm at the corner of Vision Katie's at the phone booth.
Yeah.
I'm in there because we're in the studio around the corner. And George is there now. They're mixing tracks.
Did you put vocals on the stuff?
No, not yet. They're mixing the guitar tracks down.
Wow.
So they can put the vocals down.
All right. When's that record going to come out?
Oh, I hope soon.
All right.
I really do. But you guys are the greatest. And Fat Boy says hello.
Fat boy, Chucky. All right, tell me good eye.
So, I mean, this is just so amazing. Steve Zing is the biggest Misfits fan of all. The dude, that is he loves the Misfits. Steve Zing. Steve Zing is, I mean, that dude loves the Misfits.
I'm Steve from the band Morning Noise.
Last time, I promise.
How you doing? All right, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I just want to tell you, I've been listening to you since '77, and you're the greatest.
Well, thanks a lot.
You know, I think with Robo, now you've really got it made.
Yeah, Robo is a good drummer.
Yeah, when I hear you practice, because I live around the corner in the village.
Do you?
Yeah. When I hear you practice, man, it's great.
Yeah, well, I heard your tape the other day by George.
Yeah, I have to love it.
I think it's good.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, in fact, right now I'm at the corner of Katie's at the phone booth.
Yeah.
I'm in there because we're in the studio around the corner. And George is there now.
So he was listening while they were in the studio mixing, and he stopped to go to a payphone to just call in, just to be like, yo, what's up?
They're mixing tracks.
Did you put vocals on the stuff?
No, not yet. They're mixing the guitar tracks down so they can put the vocals down.
All right. When's that record going to come out?
Oh, I hope soon.
All right.
I really do. But you guys are the greatest. And Fat Boy says hello.
Fat boy, Chucky. All right, tell me good eye.
Okay, go on. Take
so long.
That was the highlight of this whole thing. Just hearing that. Now that's interesting too, because could you imagine if Robo doesn't work out and Steve, I've said this a million times, Steve gets behind the kit and then they go to Germany. Everything could have worked out differently. I don't know how it would have worked out, but it would have worked out differently.
Yeah.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Who's this?
Brenda.
Glenda?
No, Brenda.
Brenda?
Yeah.
Who do you want to talk to, Robo or me?
I'll talk to you.
Oh, okay.
So what happened to Doyle? Because he's just like, you want to talk to Robo or me? It was Doyle just doesn't want to talk.
Robo. Robo's mad at you.
Oh, tell Lester I'm sorry.
She's sorry, Robo. You coming to the show tomorrow night?
Well, sure. Remember Lauren, that's his called?
Yeah.
Lauren's her best friend.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to say a message to somebody.
Double date. Double date. Double date. Double date.
Out there.
Yeah, you sure can.
If this kid Mike is listening, he can go fuck himself.
All right. Oh, Mike, call up and tell us what you think.
So how do you like getting all these compliments?
What compliments?
Of all these people calling you up.
Yeah, well, we get a lot of people calling up and saying, "Oh, you guys suck," blah, 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 you know, and then they won't tell us who they.
Glenn speaks with such hyperbole. We have all these guys calling, telling us we suck. One guy called. It was like, "Hey, how come you guys say you're from Jersey?"
Or whatever, you know, they're like, you know.
Yeah. Well, you guys sound pretty cool with your music's great.
Well, thanks.
Well,
I'll see you at the show tomorrow night.
all right.
Bye-bye.
Cool, bye.
Yeah, who's this?
I just love how Glenn answers the phone. Yeah, who's this? Like, there's no hello. Hey, what's going on? This is Glenn. Yeah, who's this?
Yeah, let's play some more music. How about Skulls? Who designed? Yeah.
Some guy in the 30s. It's from an old movie series, Crimson Ghost.
This one on the album? Really?
I was talking about the Crimson Ghost.
He's 45.
Like 3 songs in a row there.
Yeah.
All these people taping.
I don't care.
They're killing the music industry.
Oh yeah, right.
So what do you think?
Because yeah, he's like, all these people are taping the live songs. All these people are taping the live songs, you know, as we're playing them. They're killing the industry. This guy has no idea. This guy has no idea what is going to come in the next 20 years, man. In the next 20 years, where the entire industry truly will be turned on its head by stuff like Napster. There's that. I'm sorry. I'm looking for, where is it? My goodness, where is it? I don't know where it is. Hey, how come you guys say you's from Jersey? How come you guys say you's from Jersey?
Of bootleggers.
Like the singles we put out, I don't care.
Bootleg the album, just not the single.
Bootleg the album, I don't care because we don't getting paid for it anyway.
Wow, listen to
I can't
his.
believe that.
Well, record companies, you know, suck.
What a devil may care attitude he has about that. There we go. See those names? This guy right here, he owned the studio. He owned the studio where they recorded Walk Among Us. And he was there during the sessions. So I actually drove down to the studio and interviewed him. Sorry, I was looking for it. Well, I needed that tape. Yes, it is from, I think it is, yeah, it's from 1948. I don't know when. Maybe he was just approximating, who knows.
It's not cool. You can do it on your own, because the record companies are not going to pay you. And
that's right.
Want to take some more calls?
Okay.
This person. Do you want it? Yeah. I'll go for it.
Or the Angry Samoans.
The Angry Samoans.
We'll save the live stuff for later.
Yeah. Let me see. Wait. Let me see.
Pick something out.
Let's take that.
What bands do you guys listen to when you're?
You play Steak Knife? I want to dedicate this. Okay. We're going to play Steak Knife by Angry Samoans. This is dedicated to the guy who says we're ruining the punk scene by writing about violent songs.
Ooh, shots fired.
I hope you call back up and give me your name.
He's still steaming about that guy.
Todd Gillies. You got Todd Gillies on there. All right.
He's so mad about that guy.
It's hard to kill it when
more Samoans for the moaners.
You still on the phone? Or you want to?
Okay, great. You getting flag?
There's about 3 more minutes left. 2 more minutes left. 2 minutes.
Spook City, USA.
Ooh.
Okay.
He nixed the Spook City, USA. Well, I'll die for sure. I don't want else to die.
All right. You're used to it. Okay, London Dungeon. London Dungeon.
You know what I want to hear? I want to hear the most. I don't think I found it. I challenge someone to find this for me, please. Find it for me. Post it in the Lodi Facebook group. If you don't belong to the Lodi Facebook group, you must join our fun little community here. I'm posting the link to it in the chat. Can somebody find a real death rock goth version of London Dungeon? Like do 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 do. They call us walking corpses, unholy living dead. You know, just something like super industrial and like slow and death rocky. I want that. I want someone to do a cover of that because that is that's literally the Misfits. It's funny. Misfits doing American Nightmare, doing like, you know, the rockabilly Cramps thing, and then London Dungeon is them doing just pure death rock. It's death rock before death rock, man. It's death rock before, you know, before post-punk even comes into existence. There's London Dungeon, if you think about it like that.
We got some tickets, but got to answer a question.
It's okay.
Who wants to ask the question?
It's okay.
Yeah. All right.
On the comp.
Okay, what famous LA punk band put out a 45 as the Queer Pills? Played some of this stuff before.
I don't know.
We had a winner, and everybody's saying that was an easy question. The Samoans.
The Samoans, yeah.
Do we have enough? We have one more pair of tickets. We need a question.
Okay.
Any ideas?
You got one?
Something hard.
Something hard.
Something hard.
I don't want this to end.
Like what?
Let's see.
Wow, it goes out with a whimper. It was a good recording, though. I mean,
okay, who's the Misfits' original guitar player?
Original guitarist of the Misfits.
Oh, that's obvious. It's Jimmy Battle.
Last pair of tickets. And while we're taking calls, we'll play some Motorhead. I want to leave that here.
No. All right. I want to say thanks to everybody who supported us all these years. And we appreciate it. And that's not bullshit. And everybody who doesn't, well, you can just sit on my middle finger. Thanks for taking it easy.
No problem. Soon. See you tomorrow night.
All right.
Yeah, the club. Misfits. We're WFMU 91.1 in East Orange. And they're going to play video games.
They're going to play video
morning
games.
Noise.
Oh, they're playing Morning Noise. There you go. And that's it, man. That's the interview. I mean, that was a treat. Huh? I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Who's Word and A? Ready for this? Here, I'm going to read this comment. I have to read this comment a certain way. Ready? The interview sounds terrible. Your setup makes it sound effed up. Lots of odd phase issues and digital noise thing with the voices. Well, excuse me. Oh my God. Jeez Louise. Did you really take the energy and the time to write that comment? This is an interview. All right. This is a lost Misfits interview, like lost. This is an unknown Misfits interview from 1982 that, like, you know, freaking, like, that we didn't know existed, has a phone call from Steve Zing, has all this talk about Googie, has some great interaction with, you know, callers, and you're complaining that it sounds terrible? Dude, do you know what I had to do to go listen to the original? Listen to how messed up. I mean, it's a miracle that this thing exists. It's a miracle that Greg had the foresight to record this interview. It's not even my interview, dude. Like, I just never understand some people. This interview sounds terrible. Your setup is making it sound effed up. Lots of odd phase issues and digital sounding thing. Ugh. So I'll tell you what, Word NA, how about you send me some money to my PayPal, and then I'll make a better setup so that your ears aren't offended. You get what I can give. And if you don't like it, then like Glenn said, if you don't like it, don't fucking watch. I'm sorry. Thank you for tuning in. Truly, I appreciate it. Not everybody's a hater. As Glenn has haters, everybody has haters. Thank you, Jason. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Rue, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Whoever stuck around is going to now see something really cool. Hold on 1 second, real quick. Give me 1 second while I load this up. So, I guess that's not going to let me Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? This is some of the stuff that I've digitized so far. These are my interviews. And do you know who this is? You're not going to be able to hear that. Oh, you can't see it either. Hold on a second. Thank you, Horse. Thank you. I'm glad some people think it was a cool show. Unlike Word, the interview sounds terrible. What a nerd. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Is there a better way to do this? Hold on. Try it one more time. Hold on 1 second. Keep your powder dry, kids. Keep your powder dry. All right, ready? You're not going to be able to hear it. Zombie Ghost Train. Do you know who that is, you guys? Who is this man? Can anybody guess who that is? I mean, you're not going to know unless you're a Misfits nerd or whatever. Can anybody guess who this is? Who is this cat? Somebody guess, who is this cat? The answer is Mark Kennedy. That is the founder of Misfit Central, the elusive Mark Kennedy, sitting in for his interview for They Came From Lodi. It's a great interview. Mark, I owe so much to Mark. I literally couldn't do anything that I tried to do. I couldn't have done without Mark. Mark made all of that possible. And so when the movie comes out, it's actually going to be dedicated to him. He's going to be one of the people. What about this? You'll appreciate this. Do you know who? Look who else I got here. There's more Mark, but then, oh, look who it is. It's Odorous from Guar. I know it looks really terrible. The picture looks terrible, but you know, still, I mean, this is an unseen Guar interview. Or an unseen Odorous interview. He was so cool. There's Goolsby from Blitzkid. But there's Odorous, man. Isn't that sweet? Let's see who else. Oh, here's something that you'll find funny. Not funny, but just interesting. This is Kenny. This is Doyle and Jerry's brother right here in the flesh. That's Kenny. He is the third Kaiafa brother, and he was probably my longest interview. We did 4 hours. I did 4 hours, I think, with Kenny. Let's see who else we have here. By the way, this is just not a drop in the bucket, but this is not my entire library of interviews. There's so much more to digitize. I just want to find, where is the third Bobby Steele? Recognize these guys? I don't know if anybody's a fan of these guys. Really nice guys, these brothers, these Calabrese guys. Calabrese. You got the Calabrese guys in the house. But that's not who I'm looking for. Look at this. Isn't that awesome? Who's a fan of Guitar Wolf, man? I mean, come on. It's freaking Guitar Wolf. This is the goods right here. I'm showing the goods. I've talked about it. Here's Tom. This is the author of Scream With Me right here. That's him. That's Tom Begowitz. That's Tom. Isn't that cool? That's the dude. This dude designed this. This is the guy behind Static Age release. This is the guy who did the Misfits box set. This is the guy behind 12 Hits from Hell. I mean, we've literally talked about his work constantly. This guy is the guy who digitized all the Misfits, the entire Misfits catalog. He's the guy with the iPod full of stuff. That's him right there in the flesh. Look at that. 3 tapes with that guy. And you know what's funny? I know this sounds so crazy. I literally kept my mouth shut about this for almost 6 years. Do you realize that? I never was on the internet. I made a Facebook page in 2016 after the Misfits reunited. I kept my mouth shut about this stuff for almost 6 years. I did not talk about this. I just didn't talk about it. I just kept my mouth shut. I just didn't want, I stayed off the internet. Look at this. This is Bobby Steele. Here's Bobby. This is my third Bobby Steele interview. And look at the shirt he's wearing. He's wearing a gorgeous Frankenstein shirt with like a Misfits Crimson Ghost on it. Isn't that cool? That's Bobby. I have probably about 4 or 5 hours of Bobby. Who else do we have here that we can show? There's the man that started off. This was that first Mr. Jim interview I was telling you about. The worst. Look at his headroom. He has no headroom. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I just sort of was like so nervous, and it was like we went to the back room of his video store and just did the interview. You know, he looks really unhappy there. He really is not. This tape is really degraded. Wow. This tape is so messed up. Oh, don't want that. I don't know what I just did. No. I don't want that. Look at that. It's so fun to look at this stuff. So much fun to look at this stuff. Wow, those tapes are really corrupted, though. I mean, I'm really lucky that this guy just passed away. This is Mike Mindless from the Skulls. He was in a band with Brain Damage, the final Misfits drummer. He just passed away. That's at a Chiller Theater. 4/17/2010. Here we go. France Coma. Here's Frank Licata for you guys. And you might recognize the guitar behind him. That's the guitar from Static Age that he used on Static Age right there. Man, I don't want to show all my goodies. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm just letting you know that there is so much stuff. There's so much stuff. I think that's the extent of what I'm going to show. Oh, those Bobby Steele tapes. Rue, those Bobby Steele tapes are awesome. Those are great tapes. I don't remember what's on them, but I know that they're awesome. I just know it. And there's so much more to digitize too. It's not even funny. Oh, if you're a fan of Government Issue, the late and great John Stabb, he's no longer with us anymore. John Stabb has passed away. He played with the Misfits a few times. Government Issue. Seriously, such a nice guy who was loved by so many people. John Stabb was loved by so many people, and I'm so sad that he's passed away because he was just an awesome, awesome dude. Truly, great guy, great guy. I really enjoyed our conversation. I showed you guys Kim Gardner from Channel 3. Remember? Also a friggin' sweetheart. Look, that's him with Glenn outside of Glenn's house. So I got some stuff. There really is a documentary. There really is footage and everything. Oh my God, it's midnight. I gotta go. I gotta wake up for my son in the morning to put him on the school bus, do all the fatherly things that fathers do. And listen, thank you for joining me this evening. This was such a fun episode. I really had a good time. I'm so sorry to Word for the horrible interview. Oh God, what a now I want to listen back. I want to see if I want to hear what he's talking about, if he's talking about anything. Horace, thank you, man. Horace, just you guys, I appreciate you. Again, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Go to my website, go to frumess.com, click on all the ads on frumess.com. It brings little pennies to me. That's a great free way to support the creation of this content. I got another episode of Pizza Punk taping tomorrow from a band that I really, really, really respect. Please check out I did an episode of Live Pizza last night with Howie Wowie from Nimvind, one of my favorite bands. Oh, okay. You already know. Thank you. Truly. Thank you for listening. And Horace, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed last night as well. So, and coming up, I have to talk to him. I want to get Joe from Mr. Monster, Joe Vasta, JV, and I want him. We're going to do Return of the Living Dead, the commentary for the full movie. I got to figure out how to make that happen because there's like a lot of technical stuff that, I got to figure out how to play the movie. He's in Tennessee. I'm in New York. It's complicated. It's very complicated. So, all right. With that, I say peace and hair grease.